I sure hope nothing bad's happened to Shion.
Keep those thoughts to yourself, Rinwell. Everyone's anxious enough as it is.
Sorry, it's just... I can't seem to stop thinking about it. What do you think it is that Volron wanted with her anyway?
Going by what he said back on Almadria's ship, it would appear his primary target is Alphen. Though, it's likely he hasn't forgotten the blow he sustained at Shion's hand either. That might even be what ignited his interest.
Yeah, did you see the way he reacted? It was like he was enjoying every moment. Even his pain at Shion's thorns. Oh, that guy's just creepy.
Let's just hope he's keeping his perverted tendencies in check.
Law? Don't say things like that.
It's not like we weren't all thinking it.
That's still no reason to...
All right, you two. Now that's enough already. Alphen shouldn't have to grit his teeth while he listens to you.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right. You know, after hearing that skit a second time, Lob's still most definitely in the wrong. He's, well, not necessarily in the wrong, but he was foul for that. But nonetheless, we are here, and there's a little bit of a long story. I'll explain along the way. Hello, everybody. My name is David. You can call me Zen, and welcome back to another episode of Tales of Arise. In the previous episode, we went on ahead and climbed the mountain, defeated the bird. We're in the Waterlands. We're basically in the land of the water now. You can see all the way out in the distance. And so this time, we're going to be exploring this area in full this episode. And the reason why I know how I can pace out these episodes is just due to the fact that this is a re-recording. So between episodes, while I'm kind of selling items to get some gear stuff situated, I actually had recorded up through the end of this week. So this, but I actually had an issue with my microphone with the way that it was capturing and recording certain things. So because of that, I could, I'm not gonna lie, the videos were done. I could upload them as is, or I can use the extra time that I have now to try to make things, you know, better, correct. The downside of this is that obviously we lose a little bit of the blind aspect to it, but while I didn't advertise this as a blind Let's Play per se, it just kind of has been one for a while. It's still something that I kind of sit around and kind of think about with. With that said, I don't entirely remember what I did like gear and equipment wise, so it's gonna be one of those things that I'm gonna have to play a little bit by ear to kind of figure out as we go along here.
Have you guys checked your
catching
equipment
up
lately?
With that in mind, we should go on ahead and rest. I do remember who I spoke with before when we did the last campfire talk. So basically a lot of this is going to be like recovering same ground for me, which kind of stinks. But the good news is that it's been about like a week or some change since I've last played.
Volron's castle?
Yeah,
So
that must have
I
been it.
don't think that should be too much of an issue, if I'm being completely honest.
It's most...
So let's go ahead and make a cook before we rest. And I feel like I've also been playing this game a lot better in general. So that's also
Thanks
been
for
exciting.
waiting. Eat as much as you like.
I love you, Kisara. She's still by far one of my absolute favorites. So yeah, we talked to Dolohim last time we actually sat over here at the campfire. So why don't we go ahead and get that discussion started?
Care if I hang out for a while? You worried about what's going on with Menancia?
What makes you think that?
Well, you were speaking to Kisara earlier, weren't you?
It's rude to listen in on others, you know.
Sorry. I didn't hear what you two were actually talking about, though. I just figured it was Menancia since it was the two of you.
I am but a former lord who has abandoned his post. I'm no longer in a position to lead the realm in any capacity whatsoever.
I kind of disagree with that a
Yet
little bit.
Kisara still seeks out my opinions, knowing full well that is the case. This despite the fact I am no longer her master either.
Couldn't it be precisely because you're not her master anymore? It's natural for friends to want to hear each other's opinions.
I hadn't considered that possibility.
It's funny what you miss sometimes.
Hardly uncommon among artistic types such as myself. When lordships are decided based solely on one's astral energy, it can lead to funny results.
But even so, you still took your job as lord seriously, didn't you?
Certainly, I learned to perform my functions. However, I was less interested in ruling, so much as avoiding life and death decisions. Of course, such a mentality in the end led only to sickening pain and death taking place elsewhere out of sight. I pretended not to see or hear any of it, content to let our supposed peace and equality keep me blind and deaf to reality. I was a fool.
But you're making amends.
I would like to think so. The path ahead is dark, yet I still walk on. I merely pray that I shan't fall down any holes along the way. Do you mind
Hey,
watching
we're
our
closer
camp
to him.
tonight?
One of the, I actually do really like that skip between them because it does show that
Shall we get
a lot of the
moving?
growth that a lot of the cast actually kind of deals with
don't
throughout
want
the game
Shion to get
still
mad at us
is
for
still
dragging our feet.
more or less taking
Alpha?
place here.
She's the one that's kept us
It's
on
not
track.
necessarily that everybody's like
When I
done
was
and moved
down.
on, their character arcs are over with. A lot of
I
these
just thought she'd
skits
always be
and
there.
stuff actually kind of highlight that, which I do like, even if it means that we're retreading ground even just a little bit. I totally forgot about the Rosemary. So we're gonna give that one a little fixaroo. And last episode, I think I had mentioned that I have finally kind of acknowledged a lot of the value that using a happy bottle kind of has provided for us. I'm gonna be using this fight as a little bit of a warm-up to remember how to play this game. While I've gotten better as a whole, it doesn't necessarily dismiss the fact that I have not played this game in a hot minute. I did also do a little bit of a warm-up with the boss fight in the mountain because I still had that save point. But I decided that it's going to be in my best interest to try to take on as many of these different fights as I can. One of the things that's going to suck, which may not matter to you guys nearly as much because a lot of it is just going to be redoing like leveling paths and everything. You guys didn't see the older episodes, so it's going to be like one of those things where
I'm even stronger than before.
sorry, my brain had completely farted for a second. You guys didn't see the old episode, so I shouldn't worry nearly as much, but there's like a part of my brain that's like, but what if they know? Y'all don't necessarily see what's behind the scenes all the time, so I forgot that mantling doesn't exist in the game. That's so awkward. That's why I tried to make that jump there.
Go no further.
Okay.
No further.
I am not a big fan of these wolves or this archetype of mob, by the way. I was like, how do I get back down? How do I get back down? But yeah, so let's I did want to talk a little bit about some of the issues that I was actually having and why I'm recording these videos in the first place. So the big thing is that my poor microphone. So I actually followed a bit of a tutorial. I followed some tutorials to get not only like a better idea on how my microphone works, but also a better way to kind of like better organize, better set it up. In the progress of that, I'm always like looking to fine tune it and everything. I think that there's always room for improvement. However, what ended up happening as a result is my noise gate, which to put in simple terms, if there's a noise that is at a certain volume, it straight up won't be captured. So like I have a ceiling fan on right now that's going on above me, like you guys can't hear that.
Easy peasy. Ha hoodle.
But to kind of have a little bit of a further elaboration, I accidentally had set that up a little bit too high, which ultimately means that in situations like my voice, it was causing this kind of like stuttery, almost laggy effect, which gets a little grating on the ears after a while. I noticed it primarily in editing, and I was originally going to go through with releasing the video as is anyway because I had already recorded so many. But I think I'm in a little bit of a ubiquitous position where I can just I had a lot of time on my hands outside of the Ace Attorney streams where I can go on ahead and record it once I figured out how to reconfigure my microphone, which I spent the bulk of yesterday doing. So I figured that now would be as good a time as ever to go on ahead and just go on ahead and fix the video. Like I said, it's truly not the end of the world if I basically run into situations where I have to re-record. But it does suck because I do think that there is some good commentary bits in the previous iterations of this recording. But I do want to bring up, at least to some degree, like sorry, my brain's not trying to make sure I get into a battle beforehand. But one of the things that I was thinking about was even though there was some good material there, it's not like I can't talk about the same topics. Like, for example, this the original recording for this episode, right? I talked a lot about my content creation woes a little bit. And I think that my concerns have definitely changed a little bit since then. But I think that's a good thing. So I'll go ahead and talk about them here while we're kind of battling our way through a couple of these battles and going through this Waterlands region. So the big thing, right, that I've been wondering about, and I mentioned this I think in one of the previous recording sessions when I think we're fighting Almeidrea, is basically what I'm gonna do like once the channel's once the series is done, you know? Oh, that was not who I wanted to use it on. Anyway, basically, yeah, what I think I wanted to do once the channel was, or why do I keep saying channel? Once this series as Let's Play was concluded. Thank goodness for Regenerate, by the way. To this day right now, I'm still not entirely sure what I fully want to do, because one of the things that matters to me is that I liked having a little bit of these long form recorded series ongoing, but I also know that as like a type of YouTube video, that's just not in the cards anymore unless if you're a already established like Let's Play. A lot of people like watching the Let's Plays in the form of streams now with not nearly as much editing and the reinterpreted VODs that cover a lot more ground in regards to things like story, if that's applicable to the game. So that leaves me with, okay, so what should I do then? What should I record? And while I don't have a great answer yet, I think I know kind of what direction I want to head in moving forward in regards to what I want to do. So I play a lot of video games. I think that's already wildly apparent based off the games that I stream, based on if you even just looked at my Steam library. Like, I play a lot of video games. Sometimes I play a lot of the same ones too. But
what can I say? I had a good
the big thing that I wanted to bring up was basically how like there isn't I don't touch a lot of my live service game content. The last little bit that I did in terms of my live service games was Teamfight Tactics during its 10th set. As of this recording, they're on their 12th set at the moment. The magic theme. And so, wait, that guy got 100 0'd. Oh my god, sorry. I was wondering where he was. But, I think maybe I want to explore trying to do more stuff about games that aren't necessarily as story focused,
to achieve such
but
harmony.
definitely more like how do I say this? I think I want to do more one-off videos for these like longer videos, so that way they can kind of stand on their own. Because one of the things that I think about a lot when it comes to these different series, right, is how do I want to explain this? Is the reliance on watching previous videos before you can watch the most recent one. I want more of these longer form recorded videos to be able to stand on their own. That's really what it comes down to. And I think these long-standing series is where I play these long JRPGs, they may be better served for some streams in the future. And I think that's and I think that there's value in at least bringing attention to them.
Can be really
Because there are don't get me wrong, there are creators whose entire shticks revolve around playing games like this, and that's totally fine. In fact, I commend them for it, because there's still, you know, other creators who have done these like 100-part series, and I have sat there and I've watched all 120 or so parts, but it becomes like a little bit of the One Piece conundrum, where if you know that there's 120 so parts going in, that becomes one of the most, not necessarily, alluring's not the right word, becomes one of the most deterrent things to see when it comes to watching a new series. And it just sucks, because I know that some of those creators put a lot of time and effort into producing these videos that make a lot of guidance for new players and old players alike. Or, you know, sometimes there's also, and I know I'm talking about more like the guide specific Let's Plays, for example, but I mean, there's also the style of Let's Plays such that, we'll probably head back over there later. I was over there in the previous recording, there was nothing over there. But yeah, even the more reaction based like this one, where my priority is more of the first time experience, I think that there might be a little bit more value in that in the stream, just because, you know, it's a different time, a little bit of a different mentality. And I'm sorry in advance if I don't grab every chest and stuff here. I am trying to keep an I am trying to remember like what I've gotten, what I've seen, but it's definitely not perfect. Okay, as I was saying, there are a lot of creators who really like try to put a lot of quality stuff behind their work, and it's just a shame that it doesn't get nearly as represented. There are a lot of people out in this world who have the potential to make good stuff, but there's just not enough visibility on it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I myself am, because I think there's still a lot for me to learn, especially on the production side. But there are definitely a lot of creators that I think should have a much greater limelight. I'm kind of saying vague on purpose, just because in recent memory there are some creators who have made some phenomenal stuff and content worth watching for people. But also they've also had their fair share of some have had their fair share of controversies, even some of my favorites. And so I'd rather not specifically name names, because then there becomes a whole association thing, and then sometimes, you know, you can enjoy some creators in private. With that said, you know, I don't know if I like to saying that, but it's true. There are some creators in the past who have had some controversial pasts that, as long as they made the effort to be better people, I've been more than fully obliged to start watching them again. Doesn't happen very often, but at least there are some handful of creators where that has happened, and I'm happy that they've learned the lesson that they've needed to take away from some of the different experiences that I've seen. With that said, we don't have too much of this area left. I remember that there was a moment where I tried to do, there is a fishing hole in this area, which, you know, makes sense considering this is a water themed area.
And you ruined it.
Wait, oh, I was about to say, I knew that there was an owl here. And I also knew
going on in the forest?
that there was totally red sage. I thought there was a treasure chest down here. But I mean, I'll take a red sage. I'll take a red sage anyway. But yeah, if I ever talk very generally about creators, that's a little bit of insight as to why. just because I may favor Peter one day, and then the following day when I talk good about them, literally there's a 90-page Twitter document about them. And I know I used 90 because there's, I think, this whole VTuber situation right now that I didn't read into. But I know the document was 90 pages based off some like side tweets. But hey, we're almost there. So yeah, I do think that some of these conversations are very important to have, and I'm probably going to be having them again a little bit, kind of towards the end credits of the series once I'm finally done with it. Which I realized that we're actually getting a little bit closer to the latter half of the game, if not the end already. Based off the content that I've seen, and based on how I know this from a bit of a meta sense, mind you. Oh, I was gonna say please, please, please. What was I? Now what was I gonna say? You know, I'll meet you guys back after the battle. It'll come back to me probably around then.
Wish they were all that
Okay,
easy.
so like I was saying before, I was mentioning how as I slowly start reaching the end of the series, I mean, I'll be able to do a lot of reflecting on a lot of the stuff that I've kind of done primarily in the production of the series, and just things that I've kind of learned about myself as a whole. And I think I want to kind of use this as an opportunity to kind of treat this as a bit of a midway point in the series, if I'm being honest, because I think that this serves as a good midpoint, because we still have Beyond the Dawn, the DLC expansion for this series, or at least this game's more accurate. And so we still actually do have a ways to go, despite, you know, all the progress that we've made thus far. As you guys can see, I think I did a pretty good job with kind of collecting everything, kind of casually chatting along, and we don't have like a 7-minute fishing segue. So let's talk a little bit gear, and kind of what direction may be appropriate for what's coming up. So we actually have enough to, I don't remember where we get Tempest Fang from, but I do want to make that staff. We're going to be coming up on the Lustrous Astral Crystals soon, so you don't have to worry about that. I don't remember where we get a couple of these other items, but trust me, you're going to be running into a lot coming up, and it's going to be a pretty easy time, kind of restocking our gear and everything. And then as far as armor goes, I think I'm gonna hold out for at least a little bit. This guy is gonna be the only guy that's gonna be here in regards to like shops and everything. So I would say that if you guys are like playing along with me, that this would be the time to kind of make some preparation.
Even larger once you get close to it.
What's that? I'll see
All
you
right,
again tomorrow.
no one seems like they wanted to have like an extended conversation, so we're just going to bed.
I think we've rested long enough. Let's
Okay.
keep
So one of the
moving.
things that I am going to do though is that I am going to stock up on orange gels a little bit, just because with what's coming up, it'll be helpful. I'll just say that. All right, let's go ahead and head into the city right now.
Don't let your guard down.
We still have a bit of time left, and you know, most of the time when we walk into a new city, there's like this intro cutscene, and then, you know, we're just kind of sitting here and watching everything take place. The nice part about re-recording these is that I can dictate the pacing a little bit better.
Are you Alphen and his companions?
Why would you think that?
You are the only one scheduled to arrive, and there are no unscheduled arrivals in Ganath Harrow.
You know, I know that he sounds like very, not evil, but like, he's presenting himself super evil and like all this other stuff, but it's kind of goofy.
Lord Volron is expecting you at Castle Del Forest.
The nice thing is that I now have a cutscene in the video because when I make these thumbnails, I rely a lot on grabbing a frame from the cutscene to kind of assist in making the thumbnail. There's gonna be cutscenes coming up in like every episode now, so we'll be fine.
The red carpet for us.
Well, we made it into the city. Welcome to Pelagian. I believe I said the name of the city right. I hope I said. I think it's Pelagian. I hope it's Pelagian. Otherwise, it's about to be real awkward.
So we're supposed to meet him in there?
But I think that this is as good a time as any to go on ahead and end off the episode here. So I do want to say thank you to everybody who took the time to watch this today. I do appreciate you guys, and I do appreciate your patience with the series and its production. There's a lot of lessons that I could take away from this series, and I'm excited to put those to future use. Anyways, if you guys like the video, go on ahead and leave it a like, and go on ahead and drop a subscribe too if you feel so inclined. It all helps the algorithm at the end of the day, and I will see you guys all in the next one, okay? You guys have a good rest of your day. See you guys then.